You know that social media feed you scroll through every single day? Well, it's not some neutral window to the world. It's actually a carefully constructed reality, and it's designed specifically to hold your attention. In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden mechanics that basically transformed our online social lives forever. To really get a sense of the scale here, just look at this number. There are over 5.6 billion social media accounts worldwide. That's more than half the planet. In just a couple of decades, this technology has woven itself into the very fabric of our daily lives. It's become a fundamental part of how we communicate, how we learn, and really how we live. So how on earth did we get here? Let's go back to the beginning, right? Back to the very first era of social media. The goal back then was actually pretty simple, but it was revolutionary. You create a digital version of yourself, you find your friends, and you connect with them. It was all about building a digital community, one friend at a time. Think about it like this. Early social media had three basic ingredients. First, you had content created by you and your friends. Second, you had a social graph, which is just a fancy way of saying your list of connections. And third, you had simple tools to interact, like comments and likes. It was a pretty straightforward recipe, but man, it was going to change the world. This first wave was really a story of constant evolution. 6 Degrees laid the foundation way back in '97. Then Friendster took that idea to the masses. MySpace made it a cultural phenomenon with all the custom profiles and music. And then, in 2004, Facebook introduced the feed, just a simple, chronological list of your friends' posts. The newest stuff was always right there on top. A simple idea, right? But it had huge consequences. But that simple, chronological feed, well, it was about to disappear. What happened next was the single biggest turning point in the history of social media. Seriously, this is the moment when everything we thought we knew about our feeds changed completely. It all starts with a question I know we've all asked ourselves. You open up an app, right? You're expecting to see your friend's latest post, but instead, you're staring at something from 3 days ago. It's so frustrating. And you know what? It's not a mistake. It was a deliberate choice, a massive shift in how these platforms work. Instagram is the perfect example of this whole shift. Before 2016, your feed was a predictable, chronological timeline. Simple. After 2016, it became this curated experience. The goal wasn't to show you everything anymore. It was to show you what the platform predicted you would find most interesting. And why? To keep you scrolling, to keep you engaged, and to keep you on that platform for as long as humanly possible. So how does it know what you'll find interesting? Well, it's this incredibly sophisticated system that's constantly learning from your behavior. Every like, every share, every second you pause on a photo, even the profiles you just search for, it's all data that feeds the algorithm. So you are, in effect, training your own personal content curator every time you use the app. But why make this change? Why would they move from a simple, chronological feed to this complex, algorithmic one? The answer is, well, it's simple: money. This wasn't just a design choice, it was an economic imperative. The economic model behind all this is called surveillance capitalism, a term that was coined by the scholar Shoshana Zuboff. Now, I know it sounds a little intimidating, but the idea is actually pretty simple. Our online experiences, our clicks, our likes, our conversations are all treated as a free raw material. And this material is collected, analyzed, and then used to predict what we're going to do next. And as Zuboff's quote makes crystal clear, the goal isn't just to predict our behavior, it's to influence it. By understanding what makes us tick, these platforms can sell certainty to advertisers, the certainty that their message will reach the right person at exactly the right time, to nudge them toward a specific action. It's a whole new kind of power, and it's all driven by our data. So here's how it works in 3 simple steps. First, your data is harvested. Second, that data is used to predict your behavior. And third, those predictions are sold to the highest bidder. The algorithmic feed is the perfect machine for that first step, since it's designed to maximize the amount of data it can collect from you. But this whole system has consequences that go far beyond just economics. There's a human cost to this constant surveillance and manipulation. What is the psychological price we're all paying for a service that's supposedly free? This question, man, it hits home for so many of us. When your feed is this constant stream of perfect vacations, amazing career achievements, and flawless selfies, it's almost impossible not to compare your own messy, real life. And that comparison can be absolutely brutal. And there's actually a name for this feeling: upward social comparison. It's basically the act of comparing yourself to someone you see as better off. And the research on this is really clear. The more you do it on social media, the more likely you are to have lower self-esteem and to experience symptoms of depression. The feed, by its very design, is a machine for generating these kinds of damaging comparisons. So this creates this strange paradox. We all say we want authenticity, but the platforms reward performance. We know what we're seeing isn't real, but we still feel this pressure to present our own idealized version of ourselves. It's like this game we're all forced to play, and honestly, it's exhausting. Remember the Be Real app? It was supposed to be the antidote to this whole problem. It was designed to force authenticity with its random 2-minute window for unedited photos. But a recent study found that even on Be Real, the performance pressure crept right back in. Users started planning their spontaneous moments, and eventually, the whole thing just became another source of stress. It really shows you just how deep this problem runs. So what's next? The feed is always evolving, and understanding where it's headed is absolutely crucial for navigating our digital lives. Today, the feed is more powerful and more influential than it's ever been. Short-form video completely dominates because it's the best format for keeping you hooked. AI-driven discovery means you're seeing more content from people you don't even know. And the creator economy has turned social media into this constant competition for your attention. But at the same time, there's a growing backlash with a really serious push for regulation around safety and privacy. So here's the crucial point. The feed on your phone is not a neutral window to the world. It is an architecture of influence, an economic engine designed to predict and to shape your behavior. But now you know how the machine works, and that knowledge is power. So the real question is, what are you going to do with it?